Welcome, everybody, to the What's Left podcast. I'm your host, John, here with Jake and Brad. Today, we're actually going to talk about what's left. Like, what is left? What's Democratic policy look like going forward? Who are the people in the Democratic Party? We all know MAGA sucks. There's only a few people still hanging on to that ideology. So, what else is there? What's the alternative? What do Democrats have to offer? How can they separate themselves out? So, today we're going to talk about some of our favorite things. Uh, First thing we got to do is Democrats got to get themselves elected. So, we're going to go around the horn, and I'm going to reverse order every time. So, first question, I will go. I will go to Grill Lighter Brad over there.
Brain quizzed?
Classy. Let me see that. Let me see that bad dad one more time.
Look at this thing, dude. Fucking a long boy.
Wow.
I can light my cigarette from next door.
Lime green. They can see it from space.
That's what I'm saying. I won't lose this motherfucker, though. This is the one I load my buddies, so they have to give it back.
Yeah, but you put it in your back pocket and sit on it. That's a bad. We've all been there.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, tell us. You go first, Brad. Tell us. What is one thing you think that would be really important to Democrats to get elected?
I think they need to focus on you and I. I think that they need to make it a point to work for the working man. And I know that they've been pro-union and things of that nature, but I really feel like the working man or the working class was lost in this last election, and the Republican Party pandered to them so much that they believe that the Republican Party was actually the party of the working class. You'll hear people say that the Republicans are the party of the working class now, which is truly insane because as we see these policies, they're proving that they're actually not. So the Democrats need to prove that they are, and if they intend to keep these social programs that they have in place, they need to show how those social programs are actually going to help the working class. Your largest demographic is the American worker, regardless of skin tone, age, race, sexual orientation. Their largest demographic they need to appeal to is the American worker because the majority of us work.
60% of us live paycheck to paycheck. 60%. That is an insane number. That is a majority all of its own. And you throw in, George Clooney and Robert De Niro, and we're halfway there. You know what I mean? Like if we had the working class, we have the elections that we need. But you're right. We have to prove that we earn them. And talking to them, I think, is one of the big ways. I want to get ahead of ourselves. So, speaking of the working class, Jake, let's go to you, man. What do you think is one thing that Democrats can do to get elected? That's step one.
I think they need to be a little bit more in your face and a little bit louder.
Huh?
My opinion. I feel like we're a little bit quieter. And I think the way that Donald Trump was like super like forward in your face and like everyone was talking about him, that why aren't we as much in the media? Like get in their faces. The more they see you, the more likely you're gonna vote for him. You know what I mean? Like the sign things. Put out signs because people see it. Then you see your face too. Get out there. Say stupid stuff. Say smart stuff. To get your name out there.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah, man. I mean, make some noise.
Mm-hmm.
I've got I've got some things for both of those coming up here later on in the show. Both of those points.
I think Jake makes a good point about say stupid stuff, say smart stuff. If you can create a gimmick that's like silly, whatever it might be, but it allows you to attract a crowd that allows you to actually speak your real message to people,
Mm-hmm.
then by all means be foolish, be a little reckless, get crazy. As long as you're delivering a message once you have our attention, then I don't care how you get my attention, just get my attention.
Yeah.
Great examples like the Brat movement during Kamala's. That was a perfectly stupid but amazing tactic.
Mm-hmm.
It targeted like the young queer community. Like it was great.
It intrigued us geriatrics too because we had to figure out what the hell it meant. So.
Yeah, you all Googling Brat.
Yeah, I had to put on my reading glasses and fucking check it out.
I had to wait for CNN to report on it. I was in prison. I had no internet. All right. I didn't know. But yes, I love that. That's so good. So for me, I think to both of your points, I think the main thing that I think that Democrats can be, and something that I hear from a lot of pundits and stuff, is authentic. Like, be your goddamn self, man. You know, we are a party full of consultants and full of experts and opinions and bullshit, and there's a lot of people in the Democratic Party who chase what is, what's in the polls, trying to. And to be fair, what they're trying to do is find out what people want and speak to it. But I think we need more of find out what you believe in and speak to that. And I think I think you find, there's a lot more support for some of these things than you might think. Because we're going to talk about, some policies, some things that we think we could see enacted. And I think there's a lot of stuff that you can do that is just extremely popular and would resonate so well with people. I just think that you have to be authentic about it, though, because, like, I don't want to see Chris Van Hollen do a TikTok dance, but I don't mind seeing Jasmine Crockett do a TikTok dance. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see who you are. Like, if you're young and online, then be young and online. If you're old and on CNN, then be old and on CNN. Just be good at it. It all ends up a clip on the internet anyway. Just make sure that you deliver your message authentically. That's all. There's
I
some
think
people.
that's. Go ahead.
Yeah, just to say, like, some people are great in committees. Some people are great on CNN. Some people are great on TikTok. Be great where you are great. That's all.
I think that the Democrats, at least in the last couple of election cycles, have tried to appear like so polished because, like, Trump just is kind of like off the cuff, says whatever he wants, doesn't really care who he offends when he says it. And the Democrats try to do the polar opposite and like come off as polished, and we're the party of like class and intellect and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying that they're not the party of class and intellect, but just keep it fucking real. Like, I want to hear you come up on stage and be like, the billionaires are ripping us the fuck off. And people will be like, dude, they are ripping us the fuck off. Like, you don't have to put on this like black tie affair every time you make a speech or every time you want to be seen in the public eye. Like, share a raw emotion. I don't like. We're way past the point of like, oh, don't swear in your speeches, or you know what I mean. Don't like call out the things you see. Like, do it. Go ahead, say it. Say the profanity.
Yeah.
Say that this is fucked up. Like, please, like, we want to believe you, but when you come up and just try and use words like opulence and fucking, you know what I mean? Like, when you're just trying to use the Webster word of the day in every speech, it just doesn't resonate. And I think we all are seeing that it just doesn't resonate. You can sound intelligent and authentic at the same time.
That's true. 1,000% true. Not everything is a speech, but when you give a speech, give a speech. There's been some great speeches. J.D. Brisker gave a great speech. Ro Khanna's giving some great speeches. But you also got to like get down and dirty, and you got to talk in these town halls. Tim Walz and Senator Murphy has really polished his game up. We're going to talk about all that. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves again. But yeah, man, I think those are great messages. I think that's the kind of thing that gets people elected. Like, do the things that work for the working class. Now, to those points, you've got to have something to give people. And I think that the message that is being sent with the popularity of Bernie and AOC, so, Bernie and AOC are a given throughout this conversation. Like, we all love them. Everybody loves them. It's extremely popular. And I think that speaks to an opportunity. The fight between the center left and the left is going to be ongoing. But this is an opportunity for the left to seize momentum and to really run with it. You know what I mean? This is our opportunity to create a bit of power on our side. But we have to be serious, and we have to be a serious voting bloc. So what does a good message sound like to you, Brad? Give me or Jake, you start. Give me what you think a good message. If you want to give me something that Democrats can say that they will do once they're in power? Like, what's the number one thing? Is it impeachment? Is it investigations? Is it legislation? What is it? What's the one thing that they can do when they get into power that you think people want?
I think first off, it would just be impeachment. I
Yeah.
think it's just gone too far. I think it needs to be something this drastic is happening, that something just as drastic needs to happen to stop it.
Yeah.
You need to fight fire with fire now. It is beyond like not stepping on toes and everything else. Like Bernie and AOC, it's time to get out there and it's time to do something about it. Like actually do something about it.
Yeah, I agree. It's like you could really just drive home the idea of like when we get power back, we will use that power as an branch of government. You know, the courts are being wishy washy. We will not be. You know, I think that's an excellent place. I think that resonates across a wide range of people because once you connect with them on that level, you can talk to them about other things because we have such an unpopular. At this point, they are doing so much of the work for us. So much of the work. This is all so bad. This budget bill is bad. Stuff that people never pay attention to is leaking into the mainstream news, like the budget. Like it's ugly, and they're gonna make it uglier. So we gotta let them, but we gotta have the thing. I love that because you really have an abdication of power by Republicans right now, and people are wondering what the hell is going on. You got to sell people that if you give us that power, we promise oversight, we promise impeachment, we promise investigations, and also probably like look into the whole market manipulation and stock trading thing too. Like, let's get some enforcement of those laws. So that's a good. That's I love that. That's a great mess. So, Brad, if you're selling to the working class, no doubling down on other people's ideas. Give us something else. What else can we tell? What else reaches people? What's the next thing?
So I think we're not going to, not as the working class, but as people in general. I feel like if the Democrats could hold the House, Senate, and the presidency like Trump is doing right now, that the first thing that they should do is codify Roe v. Wade.
Oh, oh, that's good.
And it's because the Democrats, I don't care, like pro-choice, pro-life. This is a talking point in every election, and the Democrats swear that they're pro-choice, but have never codified Roe v. Wade. They have never actually proven to you that they are actually for the people. They just allow you to continue making it a talking point. So show me right now. Let's codify this. Let's let you know that we care about women and we actually do what we're going to say. And that's just hey, this has been a long time talking point, and now we are actually moving forward to make this actual change. We're done talking about making change. We're making change, and that's one that they can do very quickly. And like I said, if they are able to control House and Senate and the presidency, then it's something that they could absolutely do. And if they don't, then it's just another slap in the face of we don't actually care about you. We just use it as a talking point, and we need to stop doing that. And then as far as the working class goes, I think they need to tax the fuck out of billionaires and make sure that they either that money comes back to the government and is, I don't know, let's say universal income.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Let's say that you work your job and you work real hard and you make, you bring home $6,000-7,000 a month, whatever. Now let's say that the government also sends you a check back for $1,000 a month, or you know what I mean, $500 a month, whatever it might be. So now you're able to pay your bills with what you're making from your job, and here's this other money that you could choose to do whatever you want with. Take your family on vacation, pay down credit cards, invest this money to where you're putting $1,000 a month into bonds and things of that nature. It puts everybody on the same playing field. So now you're saving for retirement, you're investing money into your future. Things like those are like real progressive ideas. Like they're personally not progressive enough for me. And I think that you either tax the billionaires to death and that money in turn gets brought back to the working class of America, or the working class America is getting paid far more. So you threaten the idea of taxing the shit out of the billionaires so that they pay their employees more, because why wouldn't you pay your employees more? Because you're just going to lose it in the end anyway. You know what I mean? If we cap how much they can make without it all getting taxed back to the fucking federal government, like, hey, you can only make this much money, and we take everything else off the top of it. So they're either going to pay their employees more because what the fuck's the point? The money's going back to the federal government, or it's going to our employees, and there's no incentive to raise prices because their profits are capped. So it doesn't matter how much to raise prices because you're not making more money. There's actual real progressive ideas that need to be put into place. They're not progressive enough. Like, if we're going to help the working class, help the working class. Tell me you want to take money away from the military budget because there's no need to keep turning these little kids overseas into skeletons. Tell me you want to take that money and invest it into your working class. You want to invest it into the healthcare of the working class, to start up businesses for the working class, to start up, you know what I mean? To do all, like, do something progressive. Stop being centrist, because they are centrist.
Yes. Boy, I love that. Now I'm fired up. Listen, let me nerd out a little bit because this is my bag. I love this shit. So, first of all, I forgot to mention one of the other things that all Democrats should be doing right now if they plan to be reelected is to voluntarily divest from PAC money immediately.
Yeah, you know I'm not voting for anybody that's taking PAC money.
Yeah. If you want to be authentic, be authentic. Prove that you're authentically saying what you want to say. Prove to me that you're not being bought and paid for to say something else. So
yeah,
I think
sign the legislation from AOC that says you guys stop trading stocks.
yes. So here's I have ambitious. I'm gonna go big. You know, I think one of the things that our former president Joe Biden did do well. Not I don't think one of the things the best thing that he did was he was a great legislator. Okay, he had failures on multiple levels, but legislating was not one of them. He got some monster bills through, but failed to pass some of those really important ones. So, in that light, I have some packages of things, some things we can tie together, some big, big ideas that we can sell to people, right? So, let's end Citizens United through law. Fuck what the courts say, pass new law that says from now on, PACs are illegal. No more PAC money, no more direct lobbying, none of that shit. Fuck that, right? That's huge. You've got to, we're going to fix the budget, we're going to fix the tax system, and we're going to do those things. And I think that we should sell universal healthcare. That needs to be a selling point. The momentum, the Luigi Mangione thing proved one thing, or proved a couple of things. One, people are upset with billionaires for being billionaires. And two, people do believe that universal healthcare should be a right. So those two things, that can be a message of like, let's finally fix this problem. I don't think there's anything that would be more uniting than that. But back to ending Citizens United. It's not just that. This package bill includes ending congressional stock trading, a raise to Congress, hear me out, raising the minimum wage tied to inflation, so assured mutual destruction. You want to raise prices? Fine. Wages are going up too. Every time. Every time you raise prices because of wages, minimum wage goes up. End of story. Mutual assured destruction. That's how we take care of that. Paid family medical leave. I say a minimum of 2 weeks as a mandatory minimum standard across the board. The PRO Act, ending tax on tips and lowering the tax on overtime, not ending it entirely, but just bringing it down to the normal level that we tax regular hourly wages to. I think that is all things that we could tie together, along with a increased tax on the billionaire class, and you tie that bill together and you sell that as the working class package. Boy, if that won't improve lives, I don't know what will. And it has the added benefit of being progressive while sounding real bootstrappy. People don't want handouts. They want to make the money that they deserve at their fucking job. Americans work harder than anybody. They were some of the most productive people on the planet. Like, let's get fucking paid for it. We're not the wealthiest nation because of laziness. We're the wealthiest nation because we fucking kick ass. We have built a ton of wealth for this nation over the years, especially since the 80s. Like we've dug ourselves out of the stagflation of the 70s and boomed and blossomed into something huge. And this asshole is reversing all of that. Well, fuck that shit, bro. It is time to embrace the wealth and take it and ensure that as we build it, we get our fair fucking share. And that's one way to do it. I'm not done though. We got one other thing we got to do. All right. And this is more about the way the government works and does not work for people. So, first thing you got to do is you got to codify more guardrails against a rogue president. Expand the congressional map to include more districts for better representation. Okay? One congressional representative should not be representing 800,000 people. There should be more. And this will, sure, if you make it strictly about people, make more Democratic districts. So to make it fair, you can do things to make it so that you have every so many people or so many miles. You know what I mean? You can find ways to make it fair, but you got to make it fair. You can't have my city of Youngstown, Ohio, sitting next to other small cities like Canton and Akron, and them all being gerrymandered away from each other. They're 20 minutes apart, but they're gerrymandered into three different districts. So their voting is diluted into these giant districts that go way off into farm country. They just have different voting, different priorities. And so nobody gets what they want. The rural communities don't get what they want. The urban communities don't get what they want. And nobody gets, and at the end of the day, everybody loses. And Ohio stays poor while gated communities keep going up and millionaires keep moving in and not paying fucking taxes. And Ohio keeps going. The working class in Ohio keeps getting punished for it. Just as an example. So you've got to expose that map for better representation and pass the goddamn John Lewis Voting Rights Act. Expand voting rights and reverse all of the bullshit that's been done to restrict voting access. So if they pass the SAVE Act, you've got to pass, I don't know, the ERA. Like you've got to work to undo all of that damage. And you've got to make voting easy and accessible. All right. I'll stop. That's it. That's good enough. That's a pretty good
I'm
first
glad
100.
you talked about Citizens United because you know that I don't fucking deal with this PAC money bullshit. I hate them.
Yeah.
But I'm on a pretty big anti-billionaire kick right now. So.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. The world is though. The world is. You walk around with Ouija fucking Scullies like this is a superhero. I mean, it's not. It speaks to the underlying problem. You know what I mean? You can't ignore the issue that it raises, or you'd be stupid. I mean, you can be stupid. I've seen plenty of Democrats be stupid plenty of times, but I feel like you're missing the point if you don't. You know, we go out to those protests like tax the rich is people are screaming their eyeballs out. Like I mean serious, that's when the blood vessel pops. Is when you start screaming tax the rich, you know?
Yeah.
That's people know it, man. People know that we've built a ton of wealth in this nation. We know that it's been top loaded and hasn't trickled back down in any way, shape, or form. So you really gotta chip away at the iceberg a little bit. Get some what's frozen up there.
Even if you just reset them all to $1 billion, if you just gave every billionaire $1 billion and then took all the rest of it,
that'd be so much money. We would have excess. You could literally just pay people for nothing.
It would drop inflation like crazy because we wouldn't have to keep printing money because they would actually have to put all the money that they hoard back into the economy, which you wouldn't have to keep printing money because they wouldn't have it all. That's why we keep printing money because they hoard all of it. It doesn't go back into the economy.
With all the damage done to the dollar, it won't hurt. We can definitely afford to push that back up a little bit.
That's what I mean. Like, it just seems like, I don't know. I cannot get behind anybody who's defending a billionaire at this point in my life.
Nope. Like, dude asked the question, man. We had it on the show the other day. So, should billionaires exist? And if your answer is anything other than hell no, you're wrong.
Right. You're wrong.
Sorry. Wrong. Wrong answer. We do have a billionaire on our side. J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, who is very much that guy. Like, he speaks his fucking mind. He's a bit, what Jake was saying earlier, a bit more loud like Trump. You know what I mean? He's not afraid to to say his piece. He's only a mega billionaire, but I don't know that it matters. You know what I mean? I want to hear my man. I'm giving away 6.8 billion or whatever. I think he's like we're 7.7 something. You know what I mean? Like I'm giving it all away to get to $990 million. Like that's what I want to hear, or at least I want to hear I'm raising my taxes.
Yeah.
You
Let's
know?
raise my fucking taxes.
Raise my taxes.
Right.
I'm only going to take away $1.8 billion this year.
Well, listen, if he doesn't do it, like I ain't going for it. I mean, it's just
I'm not on it. Yeah, you can talk all you want, but if you're not for the working class, get the fuck off. Get the fuck out of my face.
I ain't having it. I ain't having it.
Mm-hmm. But he shouldn't influence politics, and I think that I know you said give Congress a raise, but I also think that you either pay us all more or make them live how we live.
No, I agree. But I think that's why you tie it all together, because you make it. You got to tie these things together, because you have to point out that people need to be paid. They need to be, like there's a reason, because this whole narrative that Trump doesn't take his salary and therefore that's no. What you get is your salary. The rest of it you put aside.
Yep.
That's paid amply by the taxpayer. It's not a lifetime appointment, so you're going to get paid pretty well. But that's it. That's what you get. You don't get extras. There's no fringe. You're still going to get fucking reservations at a restaurant, if you call. But there's no explicit fringe benefit, especially not monetarily. But you do that, but for me, you're giving me family medical leave. I've said 14, but I feel like everybody should get a minimum of 30, really. But I'm trying to be, I don't know, not too far to the, something that can win a general election. You know what I mean?
So don't talk about socialism.
But just don't call it that, because people, for whatever reason, don't want it. It's like if candy was like if somebody just spent the last 200 words telling you about how candy was like would take all your money and kill you. You wouldn't talk about candy the same way, but it would still be candy.
Because do you know what our mainstream media shows on both sides?
Nah.
If you go on Fox News and they talk about socialism, it's Venezuela.
Yeah.
And if you go on CNN and you talk about socialism, it's still Venezuela. They're like, no, we're not doing this. Look what happened in Venezuela. They don't talk about countries like Denmark. You know what I mean? They're not like, look at how happy everyone is in Denmark. Look, they don't do that.
The rest of the world is more socially conscious than we are. I mean, there's socialism. It in and of itself is not a dirty word. It just means social responsibility.
That's it. And they're like, oh no, we don't want to get these socialists out of here.
Yeah, this is America.
Yeah.
Get on out. All right. So we went Jake first last time. Brad first this time. Brad, give us a Democrat that you like, and let's put Bernie and AOC up on the golden thrones that they deserve, and we don't need to talk too much more about them.
All right. Well, then my pick is my guy down in Kentucky, Andy Beshear. That's my guy. He is a blue governor of a red state. And when his people needed him after these devastating tornadoes that went through the state of Kentucky, Andy Beshear was down there on the ground with his constituents, talking to them, applying for federal aid, setting up temporary housing for these people. That's what a leader in action looks like. Mm-hmm. And that's the kind of guy that I'm looking for. You're in a red state, but you have won the hearts of the people in that state. So continue to bring red states with blue leaders to the forefront and allow them to see what happens when you put a leader in blue at the forefront of your state. What happens?
I like that. Jake,
there's been no procrastination.
You know anything about Andy Beshear? So something Brad, do you know this about Andy Beshear? Have you heard his defense of trans kids?
No.
Oh, my God. So here's a man in a red state who speaks eloquently of defending trans kids. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. But he does such a great job of just talking about how he links it to his faith. You know, he talks about how his faith tells him that he should love all people, and especially these kids. He said, I'm gonna stand up. I'm gonna stand up for these kids, and it's such a great message. And he does it in a red state, and he is one of the most popular people in the Democratic, like one of the most popular people in that state. So, he's not just a little bit popular. Like that man is safe if he stays governor. He could be governor for life if he wanted to, or as long as there are term limits, let him. So yeah, I love Andy Bashir. I can't find the clip. We're not going to do that. Maybe I'll put it.
But yes, big fan. Big fan.
Yeah. Does he have a good like? I haven't heard him like talk specifically working class stuff, but I'm assuming he must if he's governor of Kentucky.
Correct.
Yeah.
He's pro you.
Yeah. Yeah, and very personal. Yeah. I think so. To this point, and then we won that mayoral election in Omaha, Nebraska, too, right? Democrat won their first time, flipped that seat the first time in years. Very popular incumbent Republican, and that man, they tried to attack him with the trans and sports thing, and he said, "Listen, they want to talk about potties. I want to talk about potholes," and ran his campaign directly at the issue, and he won. Andy Bashir went directly at the issue, and it makes sense. I think that the issue is dead with just a little bit of argument, honestly. Like, it is losing momentum. People do not give a rat's ass anymore about, like, the Republicans helped by trying to make their point by talking about women's intramural fencing.
Yeah.
But the argument can be made and won easily. And we cannot be afraid to make these arguments and win. You got the argument. Don't be afraid to make it. Like, maybe just don't treat people like they're just too stupid to get it. There is definitely part of the population that is, but like, there's a part of the population that just needs to hear you. Is just uncomfortable and doesn't understand. And you can give them. You can talk kindly about people and make it resonate. It's not that difficult. All right, Jake, your turn. A Democrat you like. Remember AOC and Bernie already hovering above the rest.
Okay, we're grossly overestimating me following people before they're candidates for president because I'm not very involved with politics. But I will say, Pete, what is it, Buttigieg?
Yep.
He just did something with the one town hall meeting with a bunch of veterans. So that the only ones I see are the ones that are making waves in social media. So Jasmine Crockett, Pete, and like other ones like that. Those are the ones that come across my page. I know there's like some that don't do that, so I just don't look into them until, I don't know, they made something impactful.
It's good though that something is breaking through. Pete was the one. Did either of you listen to the him on that podcast with the bros? What's that called? I can't remember the name of the podcast. But he went on there and talked to these bozos for 3 hours.
Really?
If the podcast's name started with bro, I definitely did not watch it.
No, it didn't. It's been around for a long time. It's a popular one. Andrew Schultz is the podcaster's name. Got a mustache he hasn't earned. In his 40s and he talks like he's 12. I don't know. I guess that describes most of them. Brad, what do you think of Pete Buttigieg?
I'm a fan of Pete Buttigieg, and he resonates with the veterans because he's a veteran himself. He resonates with the LGBTQ community because he is married to a man. He speaks eloquently, but also doesn't tiptoe around anything. And I've even seen him like on his social media on Twitter. He would talk like he would have discussions with people that would like question, the motives of what he was saying or what he was doing, and he would have open dialogue with them, which takes a lot because Twitter is the wild wild west. People just talk so reckless on there, and he would still have open dialogue with these people. which I think is huge because, like I said, you have to relate to the working man because that's what we all are.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's it, man. And Pete does, and his family does too, man. He's got this real like him and the kids and Chasten. They've got an online presence, and it's just they have that real authentic all Americana feel in a non-traditional way, and I think that people, I think it appeals to people in a way that maybe a lot of other politicians don't, who don't have necessarily that nuclear family. Like, because it's been a long time, really, since we've seen. I mean, like what? It's been since Obama that we've had like a normal family unit in the White House.
Right.
Um, Joe Biden and his much younger wife, I mean, they were sweet. She's sweet. She loves him, obviously, but his family story is much tragedy and very adult children. Everybody in that family was very, very old. Pete's children are very, very young, so it's you know much more relatable for a lot of people who are in the working class and trying to raise kids in this country. So I think that's a good points in his favor too. So can I raise up real quick? Because we are going to dump all over Chuck Schumer here in just a moment. Uh, can I please raise up Chris Murphy uh, to for Senate leader? I was listening to arguments for Cory Booker until I remembered how much money he takes from APAC, and I think that's disqualifying because I do believe that at some point, very very soon, like maybe 3 months ago, 6 months ago, years ago, somebody needs to take up to the people of Palestine and in a serious way, or it's not only going to hurt you uh, morally, like God's not just going to judge you, and I'm not just going to judge you, but like voters are going to start judging you. Like it's the tides are turning here. It's the violence has escalated to a point where it's unignorable. I could be wrong, but I feel like the support for Palestine has risen exponentially, and they are in a very precarious situation with Trump threatening to throw them, to basically sell them to Libya.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's like what the.
Let's
It's
not. We can't get
already.
into it. We can't get into it. We can't get into it. We can't hate on Trump right now.
I know. This is not what this is about. But God damn it, somebody needs to say these things, or you're going to suffer politically. All right, since we're just going to stay all cynical and whatever, but it's a point that needs to be made too. Like sooner or later, this is going to hurt you politically, and probably sooner, maybe before the midterms. So it's probably time to start thinking about taking a better stance on Palestine. Just saying. I mean, bulldozers through Rafah. Fuck out of here, bro. Like, all right, we're not going to get it. Go stop it, quit it. All right. Any any honorable mentions here, Brad? Anybody else you want to throw out there who you think is doing a good job in their current, not necessarily for president, just you think is doing a good job spreading the message?
Um, I really like Jake's pick with PDB. I think that we need to start looking at more of like a grassroots movement of like a collective to push forward. Like, yes, Bernie and AOC are doing their thing, but we need a team under them to really spread the message of like the working class. Like, let AOC and Bernie fight the message of down with the billionaire, and the other ones fight the message of up with the working class.
But I really think they need to stay out there doing what they're doing. I don't want to see. Um, I mean, I don't know how Bernie does it. To be honest with you, this man is in. He's in his committees, running his committees, coming up. He's blistering questions like he always does. But like to
I'm
do
not surprised. I'm
on
not
top,
surprised. I never once doubted this man.
it's
In
crazy.
2020, not one. I would not let anybody speak bad on that man.
Jake has been Team Bernie since before. Like Jake convinced me that Bernie was the real deal. Like that's that it goes that far back.
I've read
So
all of his fan fictions.
He's got a lot of fan fiction.
Yeah, there's like published books on like Bernie solves murder mystery fan fictions.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. I still haven't read one, but I remember we were walking to the bookstore one time, and I was like, "Wait, is that real? That's crazy."
Feel the burn.
Yep, that's funny as hell. My man is popular as fuck, man. Listen to him. Yeah, I like that. Like, let's get more people on board talking about those things. Ro Khanna is one of those people. Ro Khanna is the one who said, "I don't see no reason that if Donald Trump can get out there and say something as wild as let's annex Greenland, that we can't say something like universal health care."
That's what I mean. Like, just go big. Stop.
Yeah,
Just go. What do you have to lose?
fucking nothing. You already goddamn lost. Like you
Right.
lost. Like, you got nothing. So yeah, go for it, man. Go for it. Goddamn right. So Rokon is a great. He's doing an incredible job right now too. Jake, do you want to talk a little bit more about Jazz, or do you want anybody else?
I've just seen her TikTok videos about like her Trump versus trans and all that stuff. That's such great. It's so good. Such a
So,
fun way to put a message across. It's great.
yeah, it does, and she's doing that in committee, and this is the point. So remember, we had discussed how AOC lost that race for leadership inside of the congressional committee to Jerry O'Connell. Well, Jerry O'Connell is being forced to retire now because of I believe cancer. So that seat is open. Uh, as I said, AOC is on to bigger and more important things. Jasmine Crockett is doing that trans versus Trump thing within that committee. I think because of her experience as a prosecutor, because of her presence online, and because of her, she's brutal when it comes to talking about billionaires and Donald Trump. And I think those things qualify her very well for the oversight that we're going to want done in an impeachment trial, that we want to see Elon Musk fucking investigated and charged. Probably, I'm hoping criminally, because I believe 1000% all the stuff that we talked about is criminal, and there's definitely more that goes on beyond the scenes. So, like, that's the person I think that she would be the exact right moment, and also it is no time for, as I said, Democrats to run away from people or arguments. And raising up a black woman will not do the party any harm at all. At all. So, Jasmine Crockett, I think, needs leadership in that committee. I think she's overqualified for it. Overqualified. Brad, thoughts?
Fuck Jasmine Crockett, bro.
Good.
You know I'm anti-Crockett. She takes too much PAC money.
She does take two.
She's like Cory Booker.
Does take PAC money, but she does not take a lot of PAC money. And I do give. I would give her. I want to give all Democratic politicians the grace and time to divest from PAC money before. I say, with the exception, of course, of APAC. If you take APAC money, you're disqualified already in my book.
Yeah. I do appreciate that Jasmine Crockett don't give a fuck who she offends by speaking her mind.
And do you
Like
see
you
the
said.
following she gets with it? Like,
Mhm.
we want to hear it.
Because
Yeah.
that's what America really is. Like, people, you can speak your mind and not be offensive, like, and not like
Mhm.
attack marginalized groups. Like, Jasmine Crockett speaks her mind and says whatever the fuck she wants to say, but she doesn't attack marginalized groups the same way that, like, Donald Trump does. We're not bashing on Donald Trump. We're just saying. So she like speaks her mind, and like that's like me and you, and it's all of us here. Like, I can speak my mind and maybe be loud about it, but I'm not going to belittle a demographic to get my point across. That's not me, and that's not her either. And but I do like that she says what's on her mind. Say what's on your mind, but be respectful about it. It's simple.
This is what she's a lawyer. She's a fighter. She knows how to fight clean. She knows how to fight clean. She knows the law inside and out. And I think she'd be great for that committee. I think we've got Raskin on an important committee, and I think Crockett would add a little bit more youth, and I think we'd be stepping in the right direction. And if we could just get fucking Chuck Schumer the fuck out of the goddamn way, I'm going to make my usual plea before we get started on bashing him. Please.
Wait a second. Before you get into this, I need to refill my beverage. So would you rather me refill my beverage now, or will there be a time where I can refill my beverage?
Probably do it now.
All right.
Short break?
Or break.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta fill up too.
We got to talking. This episode's going to be long. I already know it.
It did sound like he was ready to go off. So that was a good stuff.
Yeah.
The in breath.
Yeah. Not out here taking deep breaths. You know it's about to get real.
Thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe. Share our page. And check us out on TikTok, Instagram, and Threads.
Talk about Chuck Schumer. One thing else. This is my appeal to anybody everywhere. Chuck Schumer tries to get online and do videos. Sometimes he thinks he's being funny or cute. Sometimes he thinks he's being serious. Every time he should be told that he needs to resign. If you see a post of Chuck Schumer talking about something, anything, picture of him walking down the street. If you see him walking down the street, tell Chuck Schumer to fucking resign. That's it. One word, resign. If you see something, a news story about Chuck Schumer, use the handle @SendSchumer and tell him to resign. Just keep telling the man to resign. Everywhere and anywhere you can. His office number is available online. You can call him and leave his office a voicemail and tell him, Senator Schumer, fucking resign. People do it all the time. And we need to keep the pressure up. We can do better. We can get him to resign. We need Chris Murphy in the Senate leading the charge. The man is out there making good arguments all over Sunday shows. He's refined it. Nobody is more on top of the corruption than him. He has it cataloged. He's got a beautiful presentation on it. This guy is it. Like, we need him. And we need Chuck to get the fuck out of the way. Him and the rest of the Bill Clinton Democrats need to step aside and let somebody else take charge. No mas.
You're just too old, brother. You're just too old. You got to go.
Go.
Your ideas are outdated and do not speak for your population. You got to go.
Yeah. You are a dinosaur from an era gone that just doesn't exist anymore. You get to, hang out with your Republican buddies at the club and then, go vote to fuck the American working man over anymore. Like, it just doesn't work that way, You don't get to, this isn't normal times and you've put in your time. It's time to go. It's a very safe district. There's no chance of getting voted out. So, if you're still around in 26, fucking prepare to be primaried. It's coming. AOC will take your seat, and then you really won't have nothing. So,
that'd be crazy.
Yeah. Some shit, wouldn't it? Like I said, AOC is on to bigger and better things. She is on to Super Bowl. She is the most popular Democrat now, which is saying something because Kamala was the last Democrat to run for office. So usually there's a bit of a period where they're the most popular, just for name recognition's sake only. You know what I mean? Just because you ran for president, But AOC is flying up that ladder, and I'm happy about it. I'm happy about it because I really think overall, like, that's our president. Like, that's the one I want. Like, I will reckon with whatever we sort out during the primary process, but I want the cleanest of our candidates to be our messenger. And I want somebody who's actually got a record of fighting for working class people to be our messenger. And I want somebody who knows what it means to live in America paycheck to paycheck to be our next president. And very few people in Congress or the Senate have that qualification outside of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. So I just think she's the one.
He checks all my boxes. Young and a woman.
There's the argument that it's time to run from women as candidates. I just don't know that I
I
entirely.
don't think we should give up on it. I don't think we should back down. I really don't.
I think Brad's ready to. I think Brad's ready to run from a woman candidate.
I just know that they don't do well against white men in elections.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate, but it's just the truth. You know what I mean?
I
You put two women up against
I don't know.
Donald
If
Trump.
Kamala had more time, I think she would have done a lot better.
I think if Kamala had even just had a time to do a 4-show primary,
Mm-hmm.
I think she would have won. But if ifs and buts, something.
We're wishes and nuts. It'd be Christmas all year long.
Is that really it?
Yep.
Okay. Nuts. I guess you
Yep.
do. Makes sense. That tracks.
Yeah,
All right.
I don't know.
I don't know either. It's probably old. It's probably like
yes, it's got to be.
Yeah.
Back during the Black Plague era. Yeah.
What do you mean back then? That's currently happening. Bringing that shit back. All right, we're not talking about them. It's not about them today.
It's not. We're doing good.
Doing great. We're doing great. We're almost there. Some other people that can go fuck themselves be like John Fetterman. You can get out. You can get out whenever.
Take you and your athletic shorts the fuck on.
Fuck out of here. Had us out here defending you, voting for you. Sorry, bud. See you later.
Yeah. You're a Republican, buddy.
You're a Republican now. Gavin Newsom running away from the argument instead of running toward it like we were talking about.
Yep.
Sorry. See you later. Not what we're looking for.
Nope.
All right, reverse order. Jake, is there any other Democrat that you can think of who you don't like?
That I don't like? No, but can I mention the Pope?
Yeah, sure.
I think the Pope's pretty cool. I like him so far. I know he's not going to be like super like Pope Francis about like LGBTQ plus things, but like I already see like him hating on JD Vance and everything. It's just like a whole. He knows how much hate there is, and he's just bringing peace. So I'm cool with him. I'm vibing with the new Pope. He's on Twitter. I'm vibing with the Pope. I don't hate him.
I think it's incredible how good he's been for such an unpopular brand as the Catholic fucking Church. How good. So this is why running as a Democrat should be easy, because JD Vance is so hateful that the Catholic Church is pulling higher. The Catholic, remember them from such things as the Crusades, or perhaps you remember them from like the Dark Ages, or the child pedophile rings that were suppressed during the entirety of it all. Maybe the killing and torturing of Native Americans. Perhaps you remember them from such things as the Inquisition, or I'm just saying that, or JD Vance, and people are like, you know what, Inquisition. And I think that speaks pretty highly of who this guy is. Pretty charismatic. Fucking Chicago. Good for him. Good for him. Brad, did I miss anybody? Somebody else we should drag?
No, I appreciate you dragging Fetterman at every fucking chance that you can.
Yeah.
I personally, my opinion is just anyone over the age of 55, maybe let's say 65, absolute maximum, because Social Security and Medicare and that kind of thing. Let them speak for their constituents. But if you're old, you just got to go. I need you gone. I don't care. I don't care what you're on. I really don't care, because you just can't relate to me. You just can't. It's impossible.
I think it's important. We want to like the symbolism of stepping away from PAC money would be huge. You're showing people because you have this other half of the manosphere, broadsphere, whatever the fuck you want to call it. This ecosystem that they have is out here convincing people. Oh man, they're all the same except for Donald Trump. Republicans, whatever. It's whatever. But like Donald Trump likes to shake things up, and RFK, he used to be a Democrat, but now he's not. So like he's cool, but like it's dumb shit like that that is blurring the line between the pure evil that is ripping healthcare away from disabled people and veterans and the positive message that can be offered by a decent Democrat. And the people who have failed to deliver that message since 1982, it would be a great symbolism for them to step away from the party and say, enough. And then plenty of them did do great things. And I don't want to take away from like the efforts of James Clyburn in South Carolina, but like, man, like he said, what do they want me to do? End my life, bruh? You're a little bit too tied to your job if you think that you're gonna retire and die. Like that's a little bit much. Like, go enjoy your grandkids. Like, you gotta have. There's golf to play, bro. You live in I forget North Carolina. I think it's South Carolina. It doesn't matter because they're both fucking paradise on earth. So go enjoy it, bro, before the ocean takes it. Like I just, like go live your life. Go live your life. So yeah, Nancy Pelosi, for instance, like go ahead, go. See ya. All right.
Nancy Pelosi, get the fuck out.
Did you see?
I forgot. You gotta go. That's the one I want to hate on. Get the fuck out. You're the worst. You are the worst. You gotta go, honey.
Not
You gotta
Nancy.
leave. Get out. See ya. Adios. Bye bye. You have made way too much money insider trading for me. It's just too much. It's excessive. You have got to go.
I refuse to allow that to I I refuse to allow us to just hate on her without pointing out that Mitch McConnell has done the same thing for decades and got no flack because he's an old white man. But
dude, get him. Yeah, Mitch McConnell. What a fuck.
He's already gone.
I know. We can't kick him out twice.
No, we can't. I wish we could because that man is the most evil son of a bitch on the fucking planet Earth. But
yes.
He's
I forgot. Fucking Nancy Pelosi. You and your fucking
where they plays on.
Bullshit.
But yes, you're right. If we're concentrating, this is about us. This is
yes. It's about our side.
Out of the street.
You got to be able to clean our side of the street, right?
Right. See you later. You got to go. You got to go. There's a great candidate challenging our primary, too. So
good.
Yeah, don't worry about it, lady. We got this.
Get out of the way, Nancy.
Out of the way. Yeah. So that's pretty good. I don't know, man. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that they're breaking down, and I'm hopeful that some of this stuff is being taken up and will be taken up. I hear more and more of it. The problem is we don't have control of anything. Like, these guys are out here putting out messages, and it's not even reaching engaged people because the algorithm is geared to give you one side and one side only. And
that's it.
So it's fighting. It's a lot of fighting, but they're getting that message out. But as long as Jake Tapper's trying to sell a book about Joe Biden being old, I guess we'll never get news back on cable television, So, yeah. Jake Tapper can suck a fat one, dude. He is the fucking woat. WOAT woat. Fuck you, dude. Like, who gives a shit? Just making money off of fucking breaking news. This just in. Biden was 82 years old the whole goddamn time. No fucking shit. What wasn't happening? The world wasn't on goddamn fire. So maybe concentrate on the other 80-year-old who, is still shitting his pants and also being a bad president in every respect. So, I don't know. Just frustrating. but we'll get there. We're getting there. I love this. This was fun.
This
This
episode was cool.
Yeah. It was hard not to like go off on Donald Trump though. Like
Yep. We gotta, but this is the kind of stuff that I think people want to hear though.
Yeah.
Because at this point, they're the people that are truly like the MAGA. You're not getting through to them. Nothing you could say will make them quit believing in their Messiah. They will not say a bad word about him. But we have to be able to hold our politicians accountable. And I think this kind of conversation does that. You know what I mean? It shows that we're willing to hold these people accountable for their actions on our side of the aisle.
I agree.
It's important.
I'm sorry. You said they won't stop believing. I didn't know if that was like a covered reference to the AI video that Donald Trump put out over the weekend of him performing Journey's "Don't Stop Believing."
Dude, that's our president of the United States.
United States. That's the official account of POTUS.
I will say sometimes that's whoever his social media team is. I know it's a lot of him, but like he obviously didn't make that AI video.
No.
His social media team, dude, I got to give them a little bit of credit. They fucking hit you in the chest with it every time. They just want to spark a reaction, dude, and they do.
Yeah.
They put him in a Pope hat.
Right. This dude is being bought and sold by every fucking oil state on the planet, and they're like, meanwhile, here's a clip of him playing guitar with cheerleaders, and it's just,
And like an elegant blonde mullet.
elegant. It is the best way. Now who's using fucking fancy words?
Webster word of the days. I hear you.
Yeah. No, it's quite the mullet, and he's really just getting it. Not in sync to the music in any way, shape, or form, but
Yeah, no, it's weird. He's clapping on the 1 and 3 for sure.
which is, that's the MAGA way. I think that's probably just that's just what they decided now is rhythm. Now that's clapping on time is DEI, so you have to be out of sync. Yeah.
All right, let's stop talking about the fucking.
Yeah. We said we weren't going to do that.
We're not going to do that, dude. We're not going to do that. This is a good episode. It's been a good episode. Democratic Party, push for progress and get the old people out of there.
Sounds good. Jake, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. Get the old people out. I'm tired of it. I don't know the politicians because I don't care about old white men.
Mm.
That's why I knew AOC and Jasmine Crockett.
Yeah. Honestly, it's as a white man, we have done a lot of damage, and I can own that. I've done a lot of damage. I can own that. So, I have no problem lifting up others. And honestly, even if it's just younger white men too, is a good step in the right direction. We still love Secretary Pete and Chris Murphy.
Pete gets a pass.
Pete gets a pass. Is that why?
Yeah.
That's one for the YouTube listener only. Exclusive. All right. Yeah, I love it. And I thank you guys for this discussion. This was lighthearted, a lot more fun than talking about the fucking dumpster fire that is the GOP. So let's talk a little bit about it. Let's not. I feel good about it.
Me too.
Yeah. Well, let's leave it there. Until next time, I'm John.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Brad.
That is what's left.